You guys are the leaders of tomorrow, and it's so important to understand from you what makes you take it in the workplace.
A lot of people think we're a lazy generation. Like our previous generation used to call it shortcuts, now we call it like workflow efficiency.
It's optimized procrastination.
I'm thinking from an employer's perspective.
From an employer's point of view, I think the pace at which you want change is not something they are fully ready to give you.
What do you guys look for when you decide to take up the job?
So for me, what I look at is why would you want it industry specific? Because sometimes a cross industry will bring, different ideas, and maybe that's becomes your competitive advantage.
Talk to me about two things. One is work-life balance, and two is work from home versus work in the office. What can employers do to keep up with their generation?
You have to align corporate incentives with personal incentives.
Yes, Gen Z are lazy, but the employers were also kind of lazy.
So we have to change everything.
Yeah. Gen Z in the workplace. Like it or not, they are our leaders of tomorrow. But here's the question. Are we truly ready to embrace this generation? Welcome to the season finale of the HR Sisters podcast. Today, to help us uncover this, we have not one, not two, but three Gen Zers here in the studio. Welcome, and let's get started. Thank you, Daris, for joining us on our season finale.
Thank you for having us.
We had such a great time when we were on your podcast, The Dollar Diaries. And we were like, who do we invite when we want to do this? And we straight away thought of you guys. So you guys obviously created a very good first impression.
We're honoring. Thank you.
What a time. It's a first. That's probably because some of us weren't there. So that
Okay,
I still would remember how long, before we shot the podcast, we were just talking at the kitchen, and we lost track of time to ourselves next day because we just went on, chatting.
Yeah.
And then at that time, we said, oh, we should have done a podcast about this.
We've had a number of guests tell us to move the podcast to the kitchen because that's where the interesting conversations keep happening.
well, it's also like some of the time we had problems where they say a lot of things we shouldn't be talking about.
Sure.
And that becomes a problem.
That's never our purpose. We always say things that
See, already here we've gone straight into it, right? Maybe we start with quick introductions. So I'm going to ask you all to just introduce yourself. And just for this podcast, I'm going to ask you to reveal your age because you have to be qualified as a Gen Zer to be on the show. All right. Who wants to go first? Ladies first?
Oh.
Oh, Bakarli is a lady.
Nice. You want me to say nice cardio?
Hi, with you. My name is Ghazala Parker. I currently work as a PR executive at a PR firm here, and I'm 25.
Okay, you're in. Who's next?
My name's Anas. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I work in private equity. For private equity first. And I'm 24.
Awesome.
So my name's Abu Bakr. I work as an operations analyst at a startup, a construction and fit out startup in the in the region. And I'm 35.
Amazing. So, needless to say, the right people are here to have this conversation, right? You guys are the leaders of tomorrow, and it's so important to understand from you that what makes you tick in the workplace, because you are the people that we're all going to depend on to grow our businesses, and that's why we wanted to have this conversation. So, thank you so much for making the time to join us on your weekend.
It's a pleasure.
Let's get straight into it, right? So let's start with this. What do employers, in your view, get wrong about your generation?
I'll be first at this. So I've had the opportunity to work with like a lot of different people from different regions, different countries, different age groups and stuff. A lot of them that I report to, a lot of them who directly management, right? And I think like a lot of people think we're a lazy generation, which to be fair, we are. And we're gonna sit here and pretend we're not lazy. But the laziness comes from a factor that we do have a lot of things in our disposal that our previous generations didn't have, right? Everything's a Google search away. If you want to watch something, it's on Netflix. We didn't have to go to a cinema to actually watch a movie. That's just bare bones. Or if you wanted to learn something, it's on Google. So we are in a generation where everything's a click away. Food is click away, everything's a click away. So in a way, we are lazy. But also that kind of translates into the workplace, because what used to take hours and hours and hours of work is now 15 minutes of good, honest work. And that kind of is, I feel like a lot of the employees don't understand the fact that something that used to take hours is now 15 minutes down. So they have like this, what do you say? It's not like a, I wouldn't say it's like they don't understand it. It's just, I feel like they have a incapability of understanding the difference of what that generation shift has
Yeah.
over the years.
There's a saying, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, that says if you want to get something done fast, find a lazy person to do it because they find the quickest way. Does that resonate with what you're just saying?
Yeah, privilege, right? Like we do tend to find shortcuts, and the shortcuts are like what we, like our previous generation used to call shortcuts. Now we call it like workflow efficiency.
Yeah.
Right? Like it is nice. It's like that is what it is, right? Like we're ultimately trying to do one task at the most efficient manner.
Yeah.
And I think like a lot of the older generation or people we report to tend to not understand that, tend to understand the difference between what is efficient work versus what is hard work. And that difference has always been there. So when I work with like, and when I report to somebody from India, they tend to have that, like, you have to work like 9 to 5 constantly, and then you have to put extra hours in order to finish the work. But the task that is given doesn't really require that much time, right? Like a lot of times it's like you have ChatGPT, right? Like it's a complete game changer in the sense that even if you don't know where to get started, it gives you the baseline of where to get started, and then it's your work on how you define it. So that is a massive difference that I think employers really don't understand.
But I would say it's not lazy as much as you lived a life that we wanted to make convenience the key thing for you for the generations to come, right? So all that hard work was to make things easier, right? From like, let's go back to washing clothes by hand to getting a washing machine was convenience. So it's built on that same thing, and you are the end product as of now of what convenience has done is looking like it's lazy, but it's actually like you've been tuned in to find convenient ways of getting the output that you need.
Yeah, it's also like an economic sense, right? Like in an economic sense, if you really think about it, like we think about like innovations like internet, ChatGPT, and all these things to have been a massive change. But if you really think about it, the washing machine is a great example. The washing machine has individually done more for the economy than ChatGPT or the internet, right? Like think about how many women were able to enter the workforce. That was not an option pre-washing machine, right? And it is like now we think it's like washing machine's a lazy thing to do, but like it is like that lazy thing has caused like drastic changes in our GDP or how our economy grows and everything. So it's just a matter of perception, perhaps. Yeah.
I don't think washing machine is lazy because I'm too lazy to even put clothes in the washing machine.
That's what
For us, work exactly. Sorry, you were saying, let's go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's optimized procrastination. Yes, to a large extent. It's also there's this perception that we're finicky, right? That we are shifty and we like to change a lot. And we like to bounce around, and it's not only bounce around different jobs, but bounce around different functions.
Yeah.
And I think that's ingrained in our mind because even from the offset when you're 15, 16, you've been introduced to issues from across the world with constant change at the tip of your fingers, right? So you know what's happening across the world in terms of news, politics, economics, whatever it is, sports even, and that almost in a way inundates you to change because now you want to learn different things, you want to try your hand at different things, and you want to figure out what your niche is and what your specialty is. So people in that Gen Z bracket right now, were a year to 5 years into the workforce, into the labor force, they typically tend to want to try new things, whether it's in the same firm or in a different firm. And I think a lot of employers think that's a lack of, say, loyalty or a lack of stickiness, the ability to sit down and do one thing. But it's because you don't really need to be 100% in anything. You could be 60 to 70% of the way through something and you've learned enough or as much as you need to learn to get by. And then you want to learn the next thing. And so we're very adept at shifting and changing and learning new things, as opposed to sitting down doing the same thing in a process that could have been optimized 20 years ago, but just hasn't been.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? So I'm thinking, like you're listening to you, I'm thinking from an employer's perspective. They want someone who would be there and learn and then continue to do that. But now that you're saying what you're saying, it's like Gen Zers then to the workplace, they learn what they have to learn and they're like, let's move to the next stage.
To an extent, that is a possibility. I think that's pretty much becoming the norm in a city like this, especially because this is a melting pot that allows you to not only meet different people, but also you have opportunities, like a plethora of opportunities, and
Yeah.
really start yourself as an entrepreneur. But the flip side of that is you have a committed, like if you take it to from the right angle, you got a committed individual who comes into a workforce, who's Gen Z, who has fresh ideas,
Yeah.
and they learn one function, and now they want to wear many hats.
Yeah.
So typically, it used to be through an expansion or through downsizing or through like a cataclysmic event in a company. You were forced to wear many hats in the past. We like to wear many hats.
Yeah.
We want to wear many hats. So even if you're in the same firm,
Yeah.
you could take care of operations, you could take care of investment strategy, you could take care of it to a certain extent helping out with supply chain and this and that. Because we have the ability and that want to learn.
Yeah.
And the firm will always want someone who wears many hats because that allows you to conform into this leadership structure. But
Yeah.
It's also like an economic thing. Again, it's an economic thing because if a company is ready to offer that at a better package, I am jumping immediately, right? Like no person's asked. And like I see like my dad, he's close to retirement. He's been in the company he's at for like 12, 13 years. That is not something my generation wants to put up with. Like there's no point. The upside is probably you get an increment every year. But on pure merit of like you jumping a job and getting an immediate 50% bump, that doesn't happen by sticking in the ladder for a very long time.
sorry, Bishop, I'm sort of on the other side of that fence. I have a fierce sense of loyalty sort of ingrained in me to people. So it won't be a function, it won't be a company, it definitely won't be a city. God knows I've lived in too many cities. But it'll be a person or it would be. And it'll be the kind of people, alhamdulillah, I've been blessed to find people like that throughout my life, but it'll be the kind of people that understands the requirement for growth.
Yeah.
Especially someone young coming into the workforce, if they want to grow, you guide them,
Yeah.
you lead them,
Yeah.
you pick up what's good from them and you tell them what's bad. You sort of, ameliorate what's good and fix or
Yeah.
correct, course correct what's bad. But the kind of person that allows you to keep growing is the person I'm loyal to. So if I, for instance, were to get a better offer tomorrow or next week or in a couple months, it would take a lot to pull me away from the kind of person I'm working for.
Well, I'm sure they'd be happy to hear that.
I completely have to disagree, right? I enjoy the place I work and like I have really amazing co-workers and everything, and like zero complaints whatsoever. But also it's like, cost of living's increasing.
Yeah.
As I grow older, I have more responsibilities coming on. I probably want to get married. I want to have a house. I want to drive a better car, right? These things are not getting cheaper by the day.
Absolutely.
And if somebody is saying like, hey, tomorrow morning, I'm giving you 6 grand extra to come work for me. Every month that I don't take that opportunity is a 6 grand worth of opportunity cost that I've lost.
Help segue into my next question, which is what do you guys look for when you decide to take up a job?
I have been in a position where I really debated if I want to move on to my next opportunity or not. And initially, I did take it only because I come from this place where I really have a certain set of years where I have zero responsibilities. I'm at a place where I have no responsibility whatsoever. So if I fail, it's okay. I'm just feeling for myself. That, yeah, there's no disappointment over there. And the faster I fail, the faster I learn, and the faster I will get to a place where I'm like, okay, now I'm stable. So for me, I would move as fast as I can, even if it means jumping from one place to another, because right now I have no responsibilities. So it's completely all right to just jump around, and I don't have that fear that what if it does not work. I'm not anxious. Yeah. So for me, what I look at is how much can I learn? Can I grow? Those are my main two things right now. Money is not really a thing that I'm looking at because that's something that I will build over time. It's just how much can I learn and where does that lead me to?
So that's perfect, right? So building on that, then walk me through what does it mean when you say I'd like to be able to learn or grow? What does that look like to you?
Okay. So for me, it's a very, very simple, and this is something that I've really thought through like 2 years ago. I work in the creative industry, and previously I used to work in just two sectors, which was banking and tech. And I'm like, I live in Dubai. Banking and tech, yes, it's stable industry, but working in the creative field, I need to know how to work in lifestyle. I need to know how to work in automotives and all the other sectors as well. And being in my previous company, I did not have that option where I could also learn lifestyle and all the other sectors that come with it. So for me, it was to move industries and pick up those skills as well. Yeah. So for me, that's my path, that I get to learn about different industries, work with different people, different campaigns, see how things actually work behind the screens. Those are the opportunities that I want.
Again, that's so interesting, right? Because like as HR folks, when we work with employees, a lot of times they say that I want someone who's worked in this
Industry, yeah, very specialized in the industry. And we always, when we speak to them, we're like, you know, try to challenge that back to say, why would you want it industry specific? Because sometimes a cross industry will bring, different ideas, and maybe that's becomes your competitive advantage. But there is a bias and a preference to an industry.
Yeah.
I get where it's coming from, right? In the sense that if I was, let's say, for example, we've had this conversation about contractors.
Yeah.
If I was in the contracting sector, the person knows what the standard operating procedures are, right? You know how the industry works, you know how the regulation works. You're up to date on your education, you're up to date on the new regulation, right? If you're bringing somebody from a different sector who has zero idea about it, in the pursuit of opposing new fresh ideas, you might get rid of the things that are actually working, right? And that I get where the employers are coming from, because I've been at a place where we had to hire somebody into a team, and we do look for like specific skill sets, right? And those skill sets more than likely do not come from cross industry
Yeah.
hires.
Yeah. I remember in my very first job, so I worked in aviation first, and then I got an opportunity in healthcare. And I remember people saying this to me. They're like, "Oh, you're leaving this industry to go to into an industry." And I was very young back then. And I was like, how does it make a difference? I'm still an HR professional, and the industry doesn't make a difference. So maybe it's job specific. Maybe some jobs you need to have that industry know-how, and some you don't. But then speaking of jobs and going back to wearing many hats, again, from an HR perspective, or when you create a company, you usually have a role that comes with a job description that doesn't allow someone to have to wear many hats, right?
And it's the support mechanism to enable somebody to move from one function or one role to another is a lot of work, because programs have to be there, the career development. We talk in HR terms. If we talk about it, we talk about like lateral move and upward link. And it's the lateral move part is a lot of change, because you're set in your way. I'm talking about like job descriptions, I'm talking about pay, I'm talking about how to transition you from one function to another. So this needs work. And I think um, I remember this from a banking perspective. They were trying to develop leaders from a nationalization point of view, and the entire program was developed, and they made it a 5-year program, and they had no tables, right? And this was like accelerated learning from where you are to become a leader, etc., etc., and no takers. And they could not figure out why, because everything from a development point of view is very lucrative. It's like 5 years, I will be that anyways. I don't need to go through this very accelerated program, because I'm thinking about where I am 5 years from now. I will be there. I don't need this. Like, my normal path on the job learning would be enough. When you talk about accelerated, we like they're looking at it over 12 months or 24 months, and everybody like was a little surprised, like, no, you can't be a leader to it's like, but I will be that. So this timelines that you're talking about, that's something that the employers have to get accustomed to.
Yeah.
Which
I think we all have to kind of go back to the drawing board in terms of how to define work and workplaces, because the generation coming into the workplace want things that are so different. So it's geared up to provide the structure, and this is how it's set up, but the expectation is completely different, and there's a massive gap in this.
so a lot of recalibration that needs to
I
happen.
think there's a couple of things, right? We're blessed to be in a city that might be at the heart of economics and finance and trade, but it isn't a developed economy in its entirety, in the sense that things are still burgeoning. Trends, it used to be that trends would originate far in the West and come here, and now slowly and surely trends are originating here for the first time. But because you live in a city that's still developing and is not nascent but it's almost there, you have the flexibility even within the big corporations. So forget the small mom and pop shops and the brick and mortar shops, and forget the 15 people teams and 25 people teams, but look at big corporations, like for example in banking, like you feel your Marquez and your Deutsche and JP Morgans and all this. To a large extent, because you're still in the developing economy, um, you have the flexibility to lateral because a lot of the functions here are still not very well defined. And maybe in particular industries, if you're a physicist or a chemical engineer, that yes, you are what you are. You study in a specialized manner, you get a doctor, and you study in a specialized manner. But in industries like banking or like logistics or contract or PR or market, where you can go from interior designer to study for a year and a half and become a graphic designer, like my sister, etc., etc. You have the ability to lateral, and you have the almost initiative within yourself because you're young to learn why do lateral.
Yeah.
And for us, I think the second point is you have to align corporate incentives with personal incentives. And for us going into the workforce, at least for me personally, the way I live with success is a product of hard work, um, your initiative and that place you're in, and to doing stand up, right? And maybe for example, when Dizala says, I want to learn different industries, and I'm like, yeah, I learn different industries, right? Because we invest across different things. It's about having a dartboard that can only be a certain size, and that dartboard is success. Right now, you want to make that dartboard as big as you can, because one day the dart of luck will hit, and either it hits the dartboard or it falls away. So you want to make your bullseye as big as you can, because when that opportunity comes knocking, you want to be ready.
Yeah.
And that's all it is for us right now, at least for the first 5, 6, 7 years.
So how do employers then gather that information? Like you said, that company incentives tied to personal incentives.
I think like how companies do interviews in general, right? Like it's a tiered problem, I would imagine, right? Uh, I think where the problem begins is you're trying to fill a role rather than bringing people who can do multiple things, right? And from an employer perspective, I understand where it comes from, but I think the approach is probably wrong, right? So anything from your CV scanning, like your ATS, everything is sort of like what do you say? Well, to be fair, right? Like it kind of comes back to my point. Like, yes, Gen Z are lazy, but the employers were also kind of lazy, right? They have softwares ready, where you put in and it like the AK software like matches keywords and stuff. So the lazy person in me is gonna like copy the job description, put it in and like, put for the CV and like there were instances where literally I couldn't fit like before ChatGPT, I didn't know what the keywords how do I put it in my resume. I've taken the keywords, put it on like the footer of the Word document and made it white. Just simply, yeah, just so.
Did you get calls?
Yeah, I got calls.
This was a hack that I saw, and I was like, I hope somebody tells me that it worked.
Yeah, I got like several calls, right? So, but the problem is, you go through there, you have the conversation, and the conversation like it's a both interviewer and an interviewee problem. The interviewer checks like, hey, skill set is there. Can they work with the team, cultural fit, all these different types of fit. The employees like, what's my package? What's my salary? What are my perks? Do I get insurance? Do I get visa? All these things. No, at no point you think about like how we can come together and do something else. And I never knew that was a possibility until I like joined my current company. My current company, we had an interview for 15 minutes setup, and we went in, and it was a conversation about how the JLT traffic's up, how driving in Dubai is a nightmare, the parking in JLT, and then what was supposed to be a 15-minute conversation ended up being a 1 hour 45-minute conversation. And even though like first one third of it was us just going back at it about how things suck, the next 1 hour was very productive in a way. It's like, okay, we got comfortable in a way that they were ready to say, okay, in our company, these are the things we're missing, right? We have a weakness in this aspect. Our workflows are not clearly defined. We don't have an SOP for a lot of the things we do. These are the things we do. Then I come in and say, okay, in my previous things, I've done this.
Yeah.
What we can do is we can take some of those methodologies, apply it over here, and we can document certain things. We can make things more efficient. We can look at weaknesses. And then when we talk about looking at weaknesses, why are things weak? Right? If you add more things for a person to do, it's going to be annoying. So how do we remove workflow? What are the inefficient things we can do? And that 1 hour was a complete game changer, right? When I went into the job, I knew what my job was.
Yeah.
Nobody had to sit and orient me on what the job was, right? No orientation, no training. There was no training manual because this is a startup. My job was to create set training manual.
Yeah.
So it was how you do the interview probably has a lot to do. If it's a conversation about how we can come together and fix things, because you are hiring to fix things. So how we can fix things and how we can be beneficial to both of us. Then the remaining things about your package or the cultural fit, everything automatically kind of comes into it.
Yeah.
Because if I've proven to the employer that I am worth the money, they will pay the money. And if I know that they're so comfortable, the cultural fit is right there. So it all comes together that way. So I think how they do the interview process, it's outdated. It's
So we have to change everything.
Yeah, I was just like, you're in the into university to like learn how to do my job all over again. Thanks for that. But it makes sense, right? But now again, I'm speaking from a lens of an employer. Like this is a ideal scenario. Someone comes in, they're like, "This is your challenges. This is what I can do." But to find you now, in your case, it happened through a network, right? But if you think of an employer, I'm starting from scratch. I know I need someone to help me with my marketing, for instance, right? I have to define a role.
Yeah.
Like I can't say I want someone who can do marketing and who can do operations and who can do that.
you see that's to the detriment of a lot of companies, right? Like I've seen a lot of companies hire for like this one person, all in one person, and they often like it's like an all in one software, right? If a tool does 20 different things, if a software does 20 different things, it's doing none of them very good. But if the tool does one particular thing, it's doing that very good.
Yeah.
So what companies, like especially early stage startup companies that I've seen, is like they hire this one person who can do it all, and it's mid-size. So at some level, yeah, I get it that you have to define what the job description is, what the skill sets are, and everything. But also, it need not be limited to it. Like that's just a baseline to get the qualified people through, and then what you can do is a whole other.
Right.
Okay.
It's like a
At
60
some extent, and you look at the file, as long as you make sure that the person is technically proficient for the job, like whether it's marketing or you got to be an all-in-one software or something like that.
I love that analogy. But
As long as they're technically proficient, drop the red tape. So you know the person's capable of doing the job you need done.
Yeah.
Drop the red tape, talk to them. Be transparent.
Yeah.
Tell them what you need. See if they fit. And if they fit, feasible.
Would you then say there's a different kind of approach based on the stage of the company? So if you're a startup, you might actually want someone who can do a few different, wear a few different hats. But if you're slightly more, in like 5, 10 years of business, then it might be slightly different. Is that fair?
It is fair. I would also say, like, say for example, in Kazala's case, that is a PR firm, right? It makes no sense to hire a software developer there, right? So it is like, so a company like that, I wouldn't just say it's the stage of the company, but also the type of business
Yeah.
as well.
Okay,
Like that outside, yeah.
Yeah.
It's also the role you're looking for. It, in some cases, you just need someone older. And in 5 years, I'm pretty sure each one of us would have a decent understanding of what we want to specialize.
Yeah.
So it also just depends on the role you're for.
Do any of you guys manage people? Like, do y'all have a team?
I've had interns.
Okay.
That was interesting. I actually quite like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Can say more?
It was interesting. I had someone come on for 6 weeks, trained us in technicals. I mean, my interview process was actually hilarious. Uh, we had 4 or 5 candidates. So we were actually hiring for a full-time role. We decided not to. We had interviews with kids from LSE and LBS and a bunch of UK universities. We decided not to do a full-time person because we just didn't need it. And we picked up an intern for the summer. So I had calls with 4 or 5 people. And the interview was amazing. I had a phone call. I said, hey, can you do, for example, a DCF, which is a discounted cash flow? Yeah, I asked him a couple of the technical questions. Not even how, can you do it?
Yeah.
And I placed basic trust. I said,
Yeah.
we could do it.
Yeah.
Cost. Talk me through like 1 or 2 things you've done at a previous internship or at university. They explained it to me and I understood the thought process. I said, okay, what do you want from this? And 2 of the guys sent me a list of, hey, I want to learn this, and this. And I want to be able to say at the end of 6 weeks, I have done this. I said, cool. I will, because we have so much work, right? So I will make sure your tasks align to what you require. I come on board and anything you need, I'll teach you. And it was amazing.
That sounds very cool, actually. And were they like based in the office or was it remote?
No, basically. So I mean, these interns were One was second, one was third year university.
Yeah.
And they were back from university, both from the UK.
Yeah.
And they just joined us.
That sounds so cool. I love that story. Kazala, can I ask you, be in the PR space, right? You're working all hours of the day. Talk to me about two things. One is work-life balance, and two is work from home versus work in the office.
So I think we call it work-life integration.
Which is a very stupid thing to say about me. I'm not gonna lie, like that is some made up nonsense.
Okay, no, but to be fair and honest, when I got into the industry, I knew how hectic it was. Nobody lied to me that it's going to be 9 to 5. I knew what it was, and honestly, I wanted to be in the event space, and it's something that I like.
Yeah.
So even if I have to work after hours, I don't really mind because it's something that I enjoy. And the events part, we only have certain seasons where it happens. So it's mainly like Q4 and Q1. So, and those seasons we are well prepared for. But the other, I don't know, good 6 months, nobody is keeping you at work after 5.
Yeah.
So it is a fair balance where they're like, listen, your 6 months, use them as you want, but we will need you for the next 6 months. And we're like, okay, we're ready for it and we work on it.
Yeah.
And so far, I've not really had an issue with it. I'm completely okay with it, and it's something that I like and enjoy. Coming to work from home, we actually have a policy where we work from home twice. And honestly, the people that we work with, our clients, I think just this Thursday, I was on a call with him. And he's like, you guys are really lucky to be working from home because he works in the hospitality sector
Right.
and he has to be in his office 6 days a week. So despite us working in hospitality, I still get the benefit of working from home.
Yeah.
I do not want a arrangement where I'm working from home 5 days a week.
Yeah.
It simply does not work because if you work on creatives, you have to be there. You have to talk to the other person. Yeah, needs to understand that communication is extremely important. But you also need time where you are like, okay, this is strategy. I need to sit down. I need just focus time to just do this. And technically, I get both. So far it works out. It's a correct balance where I'm like, there is work from home and there is work from office.
The work-life integration.
Which Yakar doesn't really agree with, right? Has more.
I mean, the work from home situation, like just a personal preference. I don't like work from home.
Okay.
I like structure and stuff. Like I like going to the office and working. So it's a personal preference.
Is that because your analyst, you like the structure? Or...
I just like to like if I'm at home, like I click about it. Like if I'm at home, like it's a very personal thing. I wouldn't generalize it to everybody else. I'm at home, my pet is right there. I'm choosing the bed every time. Like that is not a easy mental ward that you can win. So I like going to work, but I see a lot of people in my company also working from home. A lot of people go to the like we have project managers who go to the site and directly go home, right? The hours are iffy. Like like some people don't do the entire 9 to 5. Some people do 9 to 8. Like it depends on the workloads of situation. So as long as I would stand out. Like if you are personally happy with what you signed up for, I think that's where it ends, right? You can't crib about what you signed up for.
Yeah. I think a lot of employers think like, oh, if you want to work from home, they equate that to being lazy or they just don't want to come into be able to work. Like
It is like if you seen Dubai traffic, like so my work hours, like my company's work hours are 8:30 to 5:30.
yeah.
My work hours are 9:30 to 6:30 because I've asked for that. And then I still show up late like by half an hour. And there is a reason to it because if I leave from where I stay to JLT in the peak traffic, I still anywhere between 1 hour to 1 hour 45 minutes in traffic. And the same thing, if I leave at 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, no matter these 3 hours, if I leave, I'm stuck in traffic for 1 hour 45 minutes. So I typically end up leaving around 8:39 in the night. And what happens in that case is like it's not lazy. It's like why do I wanna sit in traffic for 1 hour 45 minutes doing nothing when I can be sleeping or literally doing literally anything else for that?
Yeah, I agree.
Like I have to spend money on petrol, spend money on Salik, spend that time sitting in that traffic, which never made sense to me.
Yeah.
Right. So I get it why people want to work from home, but also it's kind of absurd to think that working from home is a lazy thing. Like a lot of people, especially during COVID, right? Like the COVID's like a great example. Over the COVID period, we've seen like people do insane things, like and all of them were sitting at home.
Yeah.
People are losing their minds. That's one of it. But Last week they've done like all like a lot of innovation came out of that period, and a lot of things how work works has changed over that course of the period. And to look at all that empirical data and still say that it's lazy is a lazy argument at the end of the day.
Lazy is going to be the buzzword of the podcast.
So in your opinion then, right, what can employers do to keep up with your generation? Like there's so many different views, there's different expectations, there's so much you can offer. What's the best way or how can they do this?
Just listen to us. I think our generation, we're pretty vocal.
Yeah.
So we can speak up, and I don't think we place expectations where like, this is something that we would like. And even if you give us like half of it, we're pretty happy with it. But if you come to us with, it's just not possible, it's going to be, we're going to make fun, we'll just find it somewhere else. So to just listen would help.
Yeah, it's more transparency. The same thing, right? We're not very used to hierarchies. We're not very used to. We're respectful of hierarchies. Don't get me wrong, but we're not used to having to listen without a logical explanation. So if you want me not to do something, at least explain it to me, or I'm probably going to do this.
It's only fair.
Yeah.
So can you think of a situation where like, again, I'm trying to think of an employer sense, right? Where you thought something was like, why do we need to do this? And the argument from the other side was, well, it's just not possible like that. There's no two ways about this.
Or another argument that comes up as well is like, this is just how it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, reports. Dear Lord, I don't understand. Nobody reads it, right? The person who was doing it, like if you're an employee and if I'm doing a report, your chat GPT there, right? Like it's made for nobody, it's written for nobody. Why, right?
And what kind of report?
So in my current role, thankfully, I don't have to do it. But in previous roles, like we were documenting workflows. Now, the workflows are like the technical workflows that we are doing is inbuilt, right? There's a technical documentation for how the workflows are built and everything. And to me, for me to sit and document how the workflow works for a layman seems like a fool's errand because the layman's not going to fix the workflow if it goes wrong. Right? There's a technical documentation for the next technical person coming in.
Yeah.
But for me to sit and write it down for in a piece of paper and say that this comes next, this comes next, this comes next, just because you don't know tech, seems like a
This is for the non-technical manager.
yeah,
That what you do.
yeah, the non-tech like that is what happens, right? There's a non-technical manager and then there's a technical manager. And what happens is like there is a need to communicate to the non-technical manager, but also I don't need to sit and write like a full detailed document of how it works. Like you hired me, you're paying me a salary. The terms of our contract is that you trust me to do the job.
Yeah.
Right? Leave it to me, please. Right? Like if you ask me, I'll explain like in a few minutes like how does this work. But for me to sit and document it and for us to document it as in different formats and it's like no.
Yeah. And so have you brought this up to say that doesn't like make sense?
Yes, I've had several fights with my previous employer about this.
Play with previous. Yeah. Let's not even play interfere. Who that is.
It's let's say I just had to pull that company out of the LinkedIn profile.
Clever.
No, it's because they went under because they didn't listen to me.
So are employers at risk of going under if they don't listen to?
It's a mentality thing, like like I wouldn't like as much as I disagree with my previous employer, like I get where he's coming from. It's a matter of empathy also. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say that he's a terrible person or it's just a matter of like he is used to that certain things. He's run like he is a successful person. He's run companies and stuff, multiple companies. He's not an idiot by any stretch of the mind, right? Like, but also at the same time, like it's just people like the older generation, I would say, are not agile enough, right? Things have changed, and you have to keep up with the change. And like a lot of them like to lecture us about changing and how to keep up with change, but it's also a matter of like things have changed. Nobody is doing it. You have to be agile now, especially in a startup environment where everything like we have less money to work with, less resources to work with, less humans to work with, less opportunities to work with. The only option is to be agile. And if you are wasting 2.5 hours sitting and writing a report where that can be spent literally anything else, right? That is what kind of crashes to things.
If there is one piece of advice you would give to leaders, what would that be?
Listen? Yeah, that's probably listen.
Install succession plans.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think at some point in time, if you've been working for 15 to 25 years, it's time for you to also move to the next level.
Sure.
A lot of people, I feel like, and I would hope that doesn't happen to us, but when you're mid 40s, mid 50s, late 50s, you are stuck in your ways and you're quite happy with how things are. And because you're happy with how things are, the gears are grinded to a halt. And so the rest of your firm is also sort of stuck. I've spoken to multiple friends in different firms who have not been able to move vertically up. So they've had to laterals to go up, or they've had to jump over to a different ship. And that's because leaders at some time or at some point just get stuck.
Yeah.
And I would say it could also breathe new life into your career if you install succession plans.
Yeah.
Because now you're teaching someone and training someone and empowering them with everything you've learned, but also you're learning from them and they're giving you as much as you give them.
Yeah, also way to like the different legacy, right? Absolutely. By training the next generation of the person that's going to succeed your role is knowledge transfer is a very self-satisfying thing once you indulge in it.
Yeah.
And that opens you up for the next place. And then now you can start thinking of what happens in me next.
Yeah, this is also something like it came up when we had somebody on our podcast who takes care of family businesses,
Yes.
right? Like this is like a very common problem they have is like they don't have a succession
Yeah.
plan in place. They don't have a like a part for knowledge transfer at all, right? Their processes are archaic. They probably not documented quite well, and all of these things. And it's when the new guys come in, they are much smarter. Like they know a lot of things. They are innovative, creative, completely disrupts the family business. And what this person does is basically goes and like he's like a doctor for it to fix those businesses. So like I would imagine the succession plans pretty important as well. And it keeps me up at night like some of the times like what if I am comfortable with things, right? Like like this is probably a period I don't want to be comfortable with things. I want to try new things, fail and everything. But also like down the line, like when I have the means and less resources to take risks, I worry like if I won't be able to take risks.
Yeah.
And maybe it's out of my system.
Yeah.
Right. So that keeps me up at night. And I think that's probably what like down the line, like 4 generations later, somebody like you guys will be telling us that you are stuck in your ways. And that is probably not a place I want to be in.
Did you just say 4 generations and us 8 sentences? That we just I get that for a second.
Correct that to one, maybe two.
No, fair. I get your point, right? Because I'm tell me what kind of leaders earn your respect and trust.
So I've had a mentor from my previous agency, and I'm still very much in touch with him. I think he had this entire mindset that whenever somebody walked in, he's like, "I want to look at your growth. It's not just the company's growth. I want to look at your growth." And to me, that's something that I respected because he had this thing where every week he would sit down with the interns and individually. I mean, that is a lot of time for him.
Yeah.
But he would sit down with all of us individually. He would ask us what went well, what's something that you want to learn more about, what's something that you're struggling with. And he spent that time to literally, if there's something that we did well, he would, award that. Something that we're struggling with, he's like, okay, do you want to try XYZ, improve? And he would take that time every single week for like literally 6 weeks that I was there to just help me improve and get better. And that is a mentor that I will never forget. Like somebody who was actually interested in letting me learn, letting me grow. And I value that a lot.
That's amazing. That's so beautiful, actually. I really admire that as well. Okay, so on that note, I've done something that I want us to
I was leading for
play a little game. I think this is very obvious. So, I have in here a bunch of Gen Z slang words
Oh god.
that I have.
Fair warning, I don't even have TikTok. So I am really bad at Gen Z.
Well,
Go on.
you're qualified, Gen Z, so maybe you have to
You will use it and never realize that it is a Gen Z.
So here's what you have to do. You have to obviously tell us what it means, and then let's try use it in a employment HRE context, or else it will be too easy, right?
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I think I'll go first.
Okay, go.
So the term I have is ghosted.
Oh,
You don't want to take another one.
You see,
Right.
I could even say that one.
So as HR professionals, the fact that you said that's easy is crazy. Okay, how many of you ghosted? So
How many candidates has ghosted us? Oh Lord, yeah.
that's a big concern as well.
The most recent one I can think of is this person said, I'm in the taxi, I'm on my way, and doesn't show up at the interview and doesn't answer. And then we're like, you were in the taxi. What the hell did you go?
Yeah.
Oh, indeed.
That is some insane level of commitment for July.
Yeah, taxi. There was another one recently where on the date, so he accepted an offer. He was very excited. On the day, he messaged from his phone, pretending to be his friend. He said, he's in an accident. And obviously, a face reaction is like,
So he was so afraid to just say, I can't take the
yeah.
job.
Yeah, and
So was non-confrontational line I've ever seen.
you could tell it's this accident. Yeah, you could tell it's him, and because the language is the same, and but of course you give someone the benefit of the doubt because it might just be right. So we did that, and so did the employers. They were like, okay, it's fine, we'll wait. And then we tried calling, and he didn't answer, and then someone else tried calling from a different number and he did answer, but he didn't say anything. And then he just never answered again. So, we are very familiar with ghosting.
That's why it's so easy.
Sounds like you guys have trauma from this.
Honestly. Let's hope he's not actually lying about us, people.
He's not. I saw him post on LinkedIn the next day. So he's
Available for new job.
So the word I have is flex.
Oh, that's an easy one as well.
Give me the.
You know, do it. It's okay.
Let me figure out the.
You take two. Try the flex on the neck.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay, this one's tough.
I saw yeet and a number.
I got yacht.
Oh yeah, no. Is this censored? Is your show censored?
So we didn't even know it's supposed to be censored words. So
Oh, yeah, please go.
How do I explain this? Yacht is
actually, what I know.
okay. Yacht is heavy backside.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Colloquially, pulla.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the word. Okay.
No, it's
No, but so in
Can you actually even use it in a content?
I can use it in the context. You should pay me more because I have a gap resume.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
So
That's what they're saying. Okay.
Is that a flex?
it is. Yeah, it is.
Okay. That's unlocked.
The word I had is salt.
Okay.
What is salty?
She should know. She know.
Salty is when you're technically sort of like holding a grudge about something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you're unhappy about it. So I would say I'm technically salty with this person because of some incident that happened.
Oh.
And in an HR sense,
Um, HR sense it would never be for the right reasons. It would always be for a complaint. So I think there would be a complaint from some employee because they're salty with somebody's behavior.
Can you just say like, why so salty? Is that fair? Like if someone's being a bit difficult or
Yeah.
like being cross for something and you don't understand why, it was 100% why you so salty?
Yeah.
it's like, why are you salty? Did you not have confidence more?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh wow, you're not in that flow. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, sure. Mine's lit.
He's saying
Yeah. Self-explanatory.
you're not supposed to say the word. Yeah, but
Wait, this is snack.
what is it?
Snack.
Okay.
We
We know snack in one way. What's
no, it's the same way, but it's just for a person. That's
okay.
like a really good looking person.
yeah, yeah, essentially.
Like he's such a snack.
Sad, exactly. But as HR, you could never say that.
I would never say that. I even know how I know this.
Or I mean, if you're trying to be politically correct, you could say, like the opposite of this could be he ate that up, as in, for example, so like if he did, I did, or like if you have a task or like someone did incredible at like a presentation, so you could say he or she ate that up.
Like he did a good job.
He did a
It's
good job.
positive.
Yeah, he like all the terms. He just snacks.
So at the end of this podcast, can someone say, "Oh, they ate that up"?
Yeah, fully.
They ate.
They ate. Oh,
Not even in
Yeah.
2 words, one set.
oh yeah. Okay. Well, I hope someone says that. And on that note, I think we've come to the end of our podcast. Thank you so much, you guys, for sharing your thoughts, spending your time, making us know that we have to kind of go back to the drawing board. But it also says like maybe we have a second career in HR trying to work and come up with, uh, you know, tools and techniques and initiatives to make workplaces positive for you guys. What our vision at SNK and our company is to shape shape the future of HR one business at a time. And so when we speak to clients who have a predominantly Gen Z workforce, we are a little more intelligent than we were an hour ago. So thank you.
And on that note, right? Like I know there are, I don't want to name names, but like there are consultant companies that do we can Gen Z your workplace, Gen Z ready workplace consulting and stuff, right? And typically what they do is they put a 40-year-old guy like to do the consulting, and it completely changes the entire process of it. So and I've seen, like, I'm again not gonna name names, I've been to a place, I've seen like a big board with sticky notes on it saying like what could bring them up, like snacks in the fridge, uh sodas in the fridge, and like some asinine things, completely asinine things about it.
What is that? What is that word?
Asinine, stupid.
Oh, okay. Yes, okay.
Yeah, so it's like completely idiotic things all over, and like sticky notes, like a full wall filled with sticky notes with the dumbest things that can make Gen Z friend, like your workplace Gen Z friendly.
Yeah.
And nothing had to do about like how we train there, leadership, nothing. It's all like
So they think these gimmicky things are
gimmick, right? Foosball table, that's
That's another pudding.
yeah, I like it, right, but am I gonna make
That
that?
candle bar, actually.
Yeah, but am I gonna make a career decision based on today how a foosball table? Probably not.
Yeah. I hope not.
Yeah, that would be a very shallow reason to jump the
Yeah.
workplace.
Maybe put it.
Yeah, I,
you've gone out now. Some
If you're gonna make like a career decision,
Okay, I think this is the first time where we're like, thank you, and then we still continue talking just second.
no, thank you, because I think what you do is the right thing. If you're trying to, if you have a second innings or a second wind, what you should be doing is talking to people of that generation.
Yeah.
And I think whatever ideas in whatever format we're giving them to you, as long as you assimilate and take the nice parts of it and the productive parts of it, I think you're on the right track. Thank you, Fred.
I think you guys ate. You can see.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much for staying with us all the way till the end of the episode. I just had 3 small requests. Firstly, tell us how we did, good or bad. Pop that feedback in the comments. Second, please share this with at least one other entrepreneur who could benefit from this information. And last but certainly not the least, as we prepare for season 3 in 2026, tell us if there are any topics or specific guests that you would like for us to bring into our next season. We would love to get that feedback from you. Thank you so much and see you in season 3. Ciao for now.